Hey, everybody out there in internet land, Facebook land, all of those, whatever they are, technology lands. The old guy here, Wayne Nance, CEO of Real Life Management, author of Thin, Rich, and Happy, Mind Over Money. I want to talk to you today about some things that are bothering me a lot. You know, in the last broadcast I made, I talked about 4 things that hospitals and insurance companies would do to take advantage of you ladies out there. Well, my family, my friends, my clients, people have read my book, have asked me to do something for a long time that I've never really wanted to do, but I'm going to start a financial series. We'll just call the hospital, how they take advantage of your money, the first part of the entry to the series. But I want to talk to you today about some things from a perspective. I've had 52 years that I've had an insurance license and investment licenses in the country. I started my career in 72 when many of you were not alive. And I've had to handle people's money, work with banks, work with attorneys, work with trust, work with investing. I've had to work with insurances. I've had to work with banks on their boards. I've had to go through a lot of experiences, and it's not that I'm that smart. I'm not trying to be the smartest guy in the world. But my first book was done by Thomas Nelson in the 90s called Mind Over Money. And that book was where I started talking all the way back in the 90s about mistakes that people make in their finances. I know that a lot of you young people, young women that watch this, as well as the middle-aged women and the older women, all have different financial needs. But I think the one thing I've learned is that they don't teach us in schools about money. It's the one thing. I was on a school board in the Houston, Texas area for 4 years. And I found that the one thing that we don't do is we don't teach in high school money. We don't teach in college money. We got a few courses that just hit the surface. But at the end of the day, when I start talking to people about money, they have no idea what to do. And I'm tired of women being taken advantage of with their finances. And I used to do a series of seminars called Fatter Wallets for Women. And so I'm going to start a Fatter Wallets for Women series. And today I'm going to start the series with car insurance. Now, I'm going to make sure we put this up for you, but I'm going to say it. If you want to reach out to me direct, email me at wayne@reallifemanagement.com. wayne@reallifemanagement.com with your questions or your comments. And as we go forward with my broadcast, I will be more than happy to try to get back to each one of you and answer your question. wayne@reallifemanagement.com. Now, car insurance sounds really simple. You have an agent. Maybe you've met your agent. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you did it online. Maybe they called you and you did it over the phone, whatever. But there's some problems that the insurance company doesn't tell you. And once again, if they can keep you in the dark, they're better off. Let me give you an example. Most of you watching this today don't have enough liability limits and physical injury limits. The reason you don't is, one, your agent doesn't talk to you about it very much. You have state minimums that are issued, and usually it's somewhere between around $25,000 to $30,000, and then $60,000, let's say, for the total occurrence. And what that means is that if somebody sues you, you run into somebody, and they sue you. If they sue you for more than $30,000 for one person injured or $60,000 for 2 people, you could have to pay that out of your pocket. Now, what's really sad is the insurance agents have been asleep at the wheel, many of them, because if they feel like if they sell you a policy with state minimums, it's okay. Well, there's a new problem in town. The new problem is you've got illegals that have driver's license without proper credentials. They don't have to be legal to get driver's license in many states. And they, along with low-income people that don't have very good insurance, they have figured out how to make a killing on this. And the way they make a killing is they do now staged accidents. On the highways of our country, people are deliberately causing accidents to make money. They know that a lot of people are carrying low limits. And the reason that's good for them is that they can sue you. They go get what I call an ambulance tracing attorney. We see their ads all the time. If you're injured in a truck accident or you're injured in an accident, call Billy Bob Inc. law firm, because I've gotten $400 million from people for others against lawsuits. And it's a game. It's a game between the lawyers, I call them the ambulance chasers, and the insurance agents who aren't really paying attention to giving you higher limits when you renew or buy your policy. And the insurance company's part of the game, because the insurance company will settle on your behalf without your approval when one of these deliberate accidents that are caused by others to you. I'll give you an example. They call it swoop and squat. Well, swoop and squat means if you're going down the interstate at 70 and somebody comes in front of you and cuts in at 85 and throws on their brakes and you hit them in the back end, you're at fault. And even though they may have no injuries, very little damage, they'll sue your insurance company for, let's say, $100,000. Well, your insurance company will come back and say, well, gee, Johnny, your policy only covers you up to $60,000. I don't know what you're going to do. If we settle for more than $60,000, you got to pay out of your pocket. They don't say we should have done a better job helping you have the right coverages. They don't say that we're going to turn down a claim because we know it's probably not true after our investigation. Well, you would say, why would they settle a claim after an investigation if they didn't think it was true? Well, let me tell you why they do. They do because they don't want to go to court. It costs them more legal fees for their legal team at the insurance company, and people hate insurance companies. So when you go to court and you have a jury trial, you run the risk of losing in court. So the insurance company would rather go ahead and make a 40, 50, 60, some negotiated settlement. And if it happens to be above your limits, it puts you potentially in exposure to have to pay out of your pocket to some ambulance chasing attorney who was on standby for the crook that did that to you. You didn't know all that, did you? Now, what's really interesting is the lawyer don't want to go to court either, because all the insurance companies have a list of who the ambulance chasers are. We all know. And so the ambulance chasers don't want to go to court because the people don't like them either. So what happens is you got two people going against each other and you're caught in the middle like cream in an Oreo. You got the law firm of the ambulance chaser suing your insurance company. Your insurance company don't want to go to court to defend you because they may lose. The ambulance chaser don't want to go to court because people don't like him, he may lose. So these two get together and settle out of court, and you don't get to say nothing about it other than, gee, it's a lie. You get caught right in the middle. Then it's on your record, so the next time your insurance comes up for renewal, they can say, well, I guess you just were a problem out there on the interstate. Now, there's other kinds of accidents that are taking place now that are deliberate. Some of them are called left turn or right turn, meaning somebody will wave you on to make a left turn across traffic, and the minute they wave you, they run into you, deliberate. Or they'll say, come on in, make a right turn. They'll run into you. There's some people that will wait deliberately until you pull away from a curb and they will hit you. And usually there's a couple of cars working together. The person that's involved in the accident with you will have another car, usually in front or behind them, to stage it. They stage it by slowing you up or slowing you down. Or in the swoop deal, that car will be in front of the one that you hit, and they will gradually slow everything down so they don't run into each other. You're the one that gets in the accident. So basically, once again, ladies and gentlemen, even though I don't care if the guys are watching, because the guys are running the insurance companies and the guys are running those law firms, most of them, you're setting duck. You're a setting duck to be taken advantage of by the insurance companies, and you're a setting duck to be taken by the lawyers. Now, what's really interesting is you could go to $250,000 limits or $500,000 limits or $100,000 limits for peanuts. Minimal money. Minimal money. I recently looked at mine and I was upping it to like, I don't know, whatever I upped it to, and it was like big number. And they said, oh, your premium is going to go up $14 a year. So my point being is that you can go from those minor limits, which you don't want to have anymore. Don't let them sell you the minimum liability or physical damage. The physical damage can be to the body. So they sue you. When they sue you for damage more to the car than there really was. And they sue you for any medical bills. And when you have these minimum limits, you have minimum limits medical bill coverage, you have minimal on your car damage and their car, and your agent could have said, hey, for another $50 or $100 a year, we could have upped your limits 10 times that. But they're lazy. A lot of them are just lazy. So the obligation is on you to make sure that when it's time to buy or renew your car insurance, that you look at the limits and tell them to go over the limits and tell them you want higher limits. And if an insurance company wants to make a settlement on somebody pulling the shenanigans on you, you tell them that you're not authorizing them to go above limits of the policy and a lawsuit settlement, and that you do want it to go to court. That you're not authorizing anything more than that, and that you don't even want them paying at all, but they'll ignore you. So in summary, you got to watch your insurance agent. You got to watch your insurance company. You got to watch the lawyers that are going to sue you that chase ambulances. And you got to understand that nobody's worried about you but you. So for very little money, you can fix the problem. So there you go. Today, this is about car insurance. Something very simple to deal with, but can be very complicated. And if you're worried about the insurance company's feelings and their money, last year, State Farm took in $69 billion in premium, and Progressive took in over $60 billion in premium. So I promise you, they're doing okay. You don't need to worry about them when they give you a sad story when it's time to pay your claims. So this is Wayne Nance, the Real Life Management guy. And remember, the reason I named this company Real Life Management is they don't teach us in school how to manage life, especially in finances. And if you missed my last broadcast about the way they take advantage of you on medical bills, go back and see it at the hospitals and the insurance companies. And you keep following me, because every week I'm going to do a financial topic for you. Everything they don't want you to know and how they take advantage of you is what I'll be covering. Hey, it's good to see you again. This is Wayne Nance, Real Life Management. Remember, today's choices are tomorrow's reality.